Hi, welcome to our operating system presentation video. First, let me introduce iOS is the most popular operating system and is developed by Apple. Next is Android. It was bought over by Google in 2005 by Larry Page. Now let's talk about their backgrounds. What's it about for iOS? iOS is created by Apple since 1976 and is owned by Steve Jobs back then. For Android, it was created by Andy Rubin and was bought over by Google in 2005. Now you're wondering, why do we need operating system? First of all, it makes our lives easier. Time can be reduced. Necessity for the functions in a smartphone. And lastly, medium of communication. Now you're probably wondering, where is it being used? iOS is strictly only on Apple devices such as iPhone, iPad. Now for Android, it's mainly being used in smartphones but in other hardware as well, like smart TV, smartwatch and Android box. Now let's discuss on comparison, difference, speciality, and pros and cons. Now, what's so special about iOS? Well, firstly, iOS runs smoothly on their Apple devices. Next, they have family sharing, where user buys and the whole family can share it. Lastly, it's user-friendly for most people who just started using iPhone. Now, what's so special about Android? Well, firstly, it's fully customizable. The user can change the appearance to suit their needs. It's cost-effective for people who try to make apps, and it also features custom ROM where user can download. Now let's talk about the difference about these two. Starting off with Android. In the interface, we could add widgets on our home screen and also move the icon freely to wherever we want it. Now let's talk about iOS home screen. It's just rows of apps and a dock for your favorite app, and you can't really customize your home screen. Now let's compare between these two operating systems, iOS and Android. Now let's see the comparison. Now I'll be talking about the pros and the cons. Now let's talk about some pros for the iOS. First, it has great support, curated app stores, fewer worries about malware, and lastly, user-friendly and it's easy to navigate. Now let's talk about Android. Firstly, it's open source, where user can fully customize their device. Second, expandable storage, wider choice of devices, and it's also Google friendly. Now let's talk about the cons. Now the cons for iOS are such as: first, no expandable storage, users can't buy SD cards. Second, it's limited customization, where the users can't really customize their home screen. Next is charging interface, and lastly, iTunes Connect. Now, let's talk about the cons for the Android operating system. Well, first of all is the lack of accessories. Second is vulnerable to viruses. The apps are limited by the operating system. And lastly, they have a problem with their patches. Now, we can't choose which one of these is the better OS, but we can tell you that it all depends on the user. How they want to use it, what they're using it for, the functionality they want. It all depends on the user actually. Now, if you're feeling down, here's some inspirational quotes. Alright, that's the end of our presentation. Thanks for watching.